Hey guys, back with some more Bazaar, and today we'll be covering more of the monetization stuff. At the start, we got a little bit of an update, and then later in the video, we will be covering the release of Stelle. A lot of her items have been revealed, as well as the dually expansion, the flight expansion. But yeah, I guess we'll get straight into the monetization stuff, but before that, like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. It really helps out the channel. Been appreciating all the love. We hit 200 subs recently, which is awesome, and I can't wait to, keep pushing it and keep making cool content, and hopefully find the time to do streams and stuff like that. But anyway, so, update. So, it was 45, I believe, the initial announcement, so it's going to be $40 for the base game along with Vanessa Pick and Dooley, so not a lot of changes there, it just looks like it's $5 left. Heroes are the same cost, but the kicker is now, for the first 3 days of launch, they're celebrating them with a bundle that includes the base game and Stelle for the discounted price of $19.99. So what this means is, for current players, while you still might have to pay the cost that you would for Stelle, what it means is that you can get the game on Steam and get Stelle at the same time for the same amount that you would essentially pay for a hero. I think that this is it's a pretty good move. And while the monetization might not be perfect, I think they've reacted, I guess, pretty well to people's concerns, which is that they're not rewarding current players who have supported all their monetization changes along the way. They've been pivoting back and forth. I think this is a positive step. What it means is that current players, big fans, we get a discount for the first 3 days. Now we can get the game on Steam, and we can, get Stelle at the same time, and we don't have to pay $40 and $20 for Stelle, basically. We're rewarded for our loyalty. And I guess it's good for new players as well, right? Because they can get this as well for a cheaper price. So if we buy this bundle and we have the game already through their launcher, you can link your account in game and gain access to all your previous progress and collectibles, as well as sell on all your unlocked heroes. For those users, the Mac expansion will still show up as purchasable in Steam. However, if you have Mac unlocked in the client, he will still be unlocked once your account is linked. So it's literally like a seamless tie-in. You just get all the content in your account. This is great. I mean, this is positive, right? It's not necessarily perfect. People are still going to criticize it, but it's a positive step. Look, it can always be better, and as a Bazaar fan, I understand people's frustrations. It is still going to be a high barrier of entry for new players. It's going to be hard to convince your friends to play the game because it costs money now. From my personal perspective, I think the game is worth that money. Obviously, I've got the experience of having hundreds of hours in the game, so that's going to be inherently biased. And this doesn't affect me as much as it affects a lot of people. A lot of people in third world countries, this affects them a lot because $20 is a lot of money. Like, it is not a small amount of money. I just wanted to put that out there. I think that, yeah, this is a step in the right direction. It could be better, but I think it's a nice gesture, I guess, to the people who have supported the game so far. I think it's good. Hey guys, just want to give a quick shout out to the creator of the spreadsheet, brad83 on Discord. He posted this in the Bazaar Discord, and he has been updating it constantly. All of the reveal links to the creators who revealed these items, there are too many to count at this point. Like, there's 100 revealed items, and 5 each, so there's like over 20 creators really that got to reveal something. So I won't be listing them all in the video, but I just want to give a shout out to brad, who collated all of these in one place. We do also have the Dooley pack in here. I won't cover that in this video. I kind of want to cover the Dooley and Mac expansions together when they both get released. We have some sneak peeks of some Mac items, but there's no explanations for them really. So we will just stick with the Stelle items for today. So, the flying mechanic. It's a binary status, so the items can have flying or not. It doesn't have any duration, so once it starts flying, it'll continue to fly unless another effect makes it stop flying. And while an item is flying, the duration of slow and freeze applied to it will be halved. It only applies to new freezes or slows, not ones already on it. Pretty self-explanatory, right? A lot of Stelle's items will care about flying. That's kind of her whole bit. She's a, She's a pilot. She's a mechanic. She creates a lot of flying things. That's the whole deal. There's drones, there's ships, there's bombs. A lot of things care about flying and stopping flying. And they do certain things on each of those statuses. This is a cool mechanic. They have also changed Radiant. I guess I'll mention that briefly. Toby told us in the Discord that Radiant is now able to be targeted by slow, freeze, and destroy, but then not be slowed, frozen, or destroyed. So it's able to be targeted now. It doesn't shift the target to other items. It can be targeted, but it just doesn't get those effects. So flying mechanic is essentially half that without the destruction immunity, basically. Like, we're just getting half slow, half freeze, which is fine. I think, it's a cool and interesting mechanic. So, first of all, we have Lunchbox. So at the start of each day, get a small food item from any hero. When you sell a food item, permanently gain 1 regen. I can see this being really good with something like chocolate bars. We're just stacking a bunch of regen. Seems like it would be good in the early game. Maybe it would be slightly underwhelming right now. But I guess there is a limited pool of food items. Like, we're just getting like a chocolate bar, or we're getting like something else. But when someone like Jules comes into the game, we're going to be having a lot more food items, so it'll widen the pool a lot. This to me seems really good. It's just a great, item that gives you some loot, basically, and you get some regen as a bonus. So Flysicle does nothing, but every 6 seconds, it just makes an item start to fly, basically. And on its upgrades, its cooldown gets reduced. So 6543, an item starts flying. I mean, it's hard to say for sure, but this seems decent. I think there are better enablers of flight, but if you just have a spare slot and you need more flight on your board, Flysicle seems like a good fit, right? It doesn't do much else, but it makes an item fly. So it can fly itself, but it isn't necessarily giving itself flight. Oxygen tank, heal 50 for each vehicle you have. When this is destroyed, gain 100 regen for the fight. There are a lot of items like this. When this gets destroyed, it does something. So Stelle does rely on self-destruction. So, like her bombs, like things like that. A lot of single-use items that get destroyed. Now, this is cool. You heal 50 for each vehicle you have. You're going to have a lot of vehicles on Stelle. But when this is destroyed, you get 100 regen. I don't know what the scaling is going to be for gold and diamond. Maybe it would go up by like 50 on each, gain 150 regen, gain 200, or maybe it goes up by 100. I don't know. But it seems really good, and it honestly seems really good in the early game. Like, it's a medium silver, right? But like, let's say we get this on day 2 or 3, and we are able to enable it to get destroyed. Like, we have 600, 500 health, maybe 700 around that time. And all of a sudden we have 100 regen. Like, the scaling isn't as great as someone like Mac, but it could be a lot quicker. And if we do have damage, that seems really interesting to me. Propeller, an item starts flying. Your flying items cooldowns are reduced by 10%. Seems pretty self-explanatory, right? I'd assume on upgrade, the cooldown gets increased. This seems really good. Any item that has this, you think things like Figurehead, which got nerfed, a lot of items that, just reduce items cooldown flat, like Sea Shadow, are just amazing. This seems really good. And it also has the benefit of making an item start flying, which, even if you don't care about the actual flying mechanic, which, you should with Propeller, but, it is like, yeah, it is great. Like, you get the benefit of half slow, half like freeze. Anyway, Private Runabout, deal 200 damage when this item's cooldown is reduced by 1 second for each flying item you have. We're just dealing damage. And if we have a lot of small items with a lot of flying, then we're going to be dealing damage really quickly. But it's only 200. I don't know what that'd be on an upgrade, but it seems like it could be really good. I don't know though. We'll see. Hang glider, your small items start flying. When an item stops flying, deal 100 damage. I really like the look of this. This seems really interesting to me. Like, we get, like, we can play with this flying mechanic a lot. So it makes all of our small items start flying, and then if we find a way to make all of our small items stop flying, we're dealing a ton of damage. This is a really interesting item. Now, Steam Hose. When we slow this, gains +4 burn for the fight. And I would assume that the scaling for the burn increases when we go up. This is going to be really good with another item that we'll look at later. Aviators, shield 10 when we burn, charges a second. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a shield item that just works off of a burn charge mechanic. Blowtorch, it's better than what it was. It's 4 seconds. It's not like a 7-second burn item now, so I guess that's okay. Solar Drone, shield 10, this starts flying. When you burn, this gains +5 shield for the fight. Works off of burn, scales its shield. I would assume that the shield scaling increases. It doesn't seem like an amazing option. Like, I think it could be good. But yeah, like, it doesn't seem amazing in my eyes. Smoke detector, when you burn, haste an item for 1 second. This seems okay, and we know the upgrades for this. When we burst, haste an item for 1, 2, 3 seconds. I think this seems like solid. If we get enough burn procs, that could be perma haste at diamond. It is a passive item though, so I don't know whether that means that it can be flying or not. I don't know whether passive items can be targeted with the flying effect. Pressure heater, adjacent burn items gain +5 burn for the fight. When using another tool or vehicle, charges 1 second. That seems really good. Like you can stack up a lot of burn. We're going to be using vehicles at least a lot. I'm not sure about tools yet. So I feel like this could get a lot of charge. It doesn't seem to work off of the flying mechanic all that much. Like there seems to be, you know, a lot, like the things so far for Stella, it seems to be flying vehicles, and then you have tools vehicles burn slow stuff. Like it seems like a decent blend, and I hope like all of the sets kind of work together. Pinwheel, haste 1 item for 1 second, gain 1 regen for the fight. When your items start flying, charge this 1 second. When your items, or when an item, like is that all of your items, or when your items start flying? It just seems like it goes really quickly, basically. Seems solid. Kite, an item starts flying. When your items start flying, gain 3 regen. It's just a bigger version of this, except we gain more regen, and it, you know, essentially works off of itself. It has self-scaling. Oxygen mask. Shield 10, and when we shield, gain 2 regen for the fight. Seems solid. We have a lot of things that would operate off of shielding really quickly, so we'd be getting a ton of regen. Now, fire hose. This is what I was talking about with steam hose, because it operates off of slow scaling. Slow all items for 1 second. Cleanse half your burn. Seems crazy, right? And then we have flashbang. It's similar to what it was. Has 1 change, and when this item starts flying, you reload it. So it has reload built into it, which is cool. It is slow all enemy items for 3 seconds at 7, which does seem pretty good. Like it feels like a better plasma grenade right now. Call me crazy. But yeah, fire hose seems like it's going to be absolutely busted good. Like it seems really, really good. It also works well with another item that we'll have a look at later. Multi-tool, it's the same. I don't think it's changed. Maybe the cooldown has, I'm not sure. Nicola, charge adjacent items 2 seconds, slow adjacent items for 1 second. This is funky. I like this. And you know, it only has 2 ammo. It doesn't scale off of the level. We know that the charge scales. That's cool. I think that's going to be quite good when we're looking at really slow items with high impact. But this is it's an interesting item. Toolbox got changed. Haste the tool to the right of this for 2 seconds. At the start of each day, you get a small tool. It's a fishing rod now. Basically, you know, it's a shovel. It gives you a small item, essentially. Skyliner, huge gold item. Deal 150 damage, and this has +1 multicast for each flying item that you have. Could have up to 7 times, 8 times multicast, right? Like, because, 10 slots on a board, we can have this and 7 more small items, and if all of them are flying, including our Skyliner, that's a lot of multicast. It's a lot of burn, especially. The burn is really high on this guy. Although, it doesn't have any charge, and I'm not sure, I'm assuming at Diamond that just the damage and the burn goes up. Space Laser, Stell has a boulder. This seems really fun. If you can get enough charge going, then I would assume that this can go even quicker than a boulder. I think, the peak of a boulder is like, you get your 2 second, 1 second boulders, but this seems to have, it has charge built into it, essentially. It has a higher cooldown, but it has its charge built into it. Very cool, and thematically just kind of insane that Stell's family just has like an orbital laser that they can use. Spotlight. Double the damage of the weapon to the left of this for the fight. and double the shield of the shield item to the left of this for the fight. Yeah, pretty straightforward, right? There's not much to explain. We're just doubling. Now, it can get dangerous. You know, whenever they put double in a game, it does tend to get dangerous. But it is a 10-second item. You do have to wait a while for the payoff. Rivet Gun got changed. Drink break. Okay. So, instead of operating directly like a pendulum on right to left, now when we use the item to the right, you charge the rivet gun 1 second, and when the rivet gun goes off, you charge the item to the left. And now we have this scaling over here, 1, 2, 3 seconds per level. This seems a little bit more balanced than rivet gun would be. I'd assume it'd be pretty good, especially when we look at things like, you know, a lot of things have multicast, right? So, you know, it seems like it can maybe generate some pretty stupid infinite combos consistently on Stelle, so I think this is a decent change. Buster. When your vehicles or drones start flying, this starts flying, or when this starts flying, deal damage equal to 20% of your enemy's max health and destroy this and an enemy item for the fight. It's a barrel with less damage, right? A barrel with less damage, maybe faster. Barrel? Keg, sorry. It's a keg with less damage, maybe faster, and you get to destroy an enemy item. Feels quite good. We have seen some items that work off of destroy, and there are items that work off of adjacent things getting destroyed that we'll have a look at as well. Seems good. Seems cool. I'm loving the themes so far. Bon Voyage. Deal 100 damage, burn 10. When this stops flying, use this 6 times and destroy this. Seems great. Like, it seems solid even without, like, the destroy function. Like, it's 110. It is kind of slow at 6 seconds. Maybe you need some damage scaling. It is cool, though. The big one. 14 seconds, destroy this one. This is destroy, deal damage equal to 35% of your enemy's max health. It feels kind of like a worse keg. Like, there's no way to charge it unless you get haste. Like, you can't make it faster. But it does do a lot of damage. Obsidian and crit, you can still effectively one-shot someone, but it's a high roll, right? It's like, keg does, what, 40% now at diamond? It's just slightly worse, I think. It doesn't have the charge mechanic. Hydrogen tank. Haste adjacent items for 1 second. If you have a vehicle, use this at the start of each fight, and when this is destroyed, burn 100. So it operates off a destroy, again. Kind of cool thematically, when a hydrogen tank explodes, it'll burn, right? So, cool. And I like that it kept the mechanic of hasting adjacent items for 1 second. And if you have a vehicle, it doesn't haste vehicles exclusively. It hastes adjacent items. So you can hasten it like whatever item you want, right? At the start of each fight. Lava Roller. This is probably my favorite art. I love the winding like glass through the sand. It's very, very cool. Burn. Destroy an adjacent item for the fight. When you destroy an item, double this item's burn for the fight. It seems really slow. What I would assume is that what we want here is we want to, destroy a hydrogen tank and we burn. And then we double this item's burn. Or we destroy the big one. Or we destroy Bon Voyage. I don't know if you can destroy Buster because it's when you stop flying. But I think this is an interesting item if we can destroy the adjacent items faster, because you can just double and double again. But I think you need some initial burn scaling, right? Like, you can't just destroy... But no, it's when you destroy an item, sorry. So it can be anything then. That's my bad. Interesting item. I love the art. Low Roller. Very, very cool item. Haste item for 1 second. This has +1 multicast for each adjacent tool. It's just a haste dealer, basically. Pretty straightforward. I love the little guy, though. Look at his little, like, he's got eyes. It's a friend. It's definitely a friend. Jetpack. Haste item to the left of this for 1 second. If this is flying, haste item to the right of this. It's a lot of haste, right? You haste adjacent items, which is very good for a small item. Typically with something like wheel or rocket boots, it's medium, right? So this could be really good, and I'm assuming it does more haste, or its cooldown gets reduced. I would assume that it's just more haste on level ups. This seems cool though. Headset. When your items start flying, haste it for 1 second. Seems amazing for a passive item. Like, when your items start flying, you haste it for 4 seconds at diamond. Like, as soon as your items start flying, you have a small item that just gives it haste for 4 seconds. And, you know, when an item is flying, its abilities get enabled sometimes, right? So you fly with an item and all of a sudden it's like, you know, it just goes like really quickly. Anemometer. An adjacent item starts flying. When the item stops or starts flying, haste it for 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. Seems great. Similar to the headset, but obviously it has a non-passive effect. Like it just makes an adjacent item start flying. Seems great to me. Like a better version of the headset, but obviously headset's small, so it's a little bit more flexible. Goggles is different. Yay. So 6 seconds, shield 20, and when you haste, adjacent items gain crit chance for the fight. Pretty straightforward. It's instead of when goggles gain haste, your items gain crit chance. Seems straightforward. Angle Grinder Drone. This guy is so cool looking. Deal 10 damage. A tool or drone starts flying. Yeah, straightforward. You know, I like the theme of it. The art is just really cool as well, with the sparks flying everywhere. It seems solid, right? It's a drone tool and weapon. It has a lot of tags, and it gives things the flying effect, which I don't know why it makes things start flying, but like thematically, I don't know whether it makes sense, but it is kind of cool. Battle drone. See my boy Wolf in the corner there. So 8 seconds, deal 40 damage if you have another tool, tech, drone, or vehicle. This is +1 multicast for each. Yeah, multicast, you know, it feels similar to the ship on NASA, the battleship, whatever it's called, I forget. I can't remember all the items in the game. And it's medium. You know, so this feels like it can go pretty rapidly. You know, max of 4 multicast. Seems pretty good at 8 seconds. You know, every 2 seconds we're getting a cast from a weapon. I don't know about the drone, like synergies yet, but it does seem solid. Lightning Butterfly, deal 5 damage. Your flying weapons gain 5 damage for the fight. Seems great. It's a fast weapons scaler. I would assume that the damage scaling increases on a level up. It seems really, really strong. And at the start of each fight, this starts flying, right? So when we think about headphones, when an item starts flying, it gains haste. Lightning Butterfly seems really good in that regards, because we're just getting a bunch of weapon scaling right off the bat. Delivery Drone, charge another flying item 1 second at the start of each day. Get a loot item. Yeah, straightforward, right? Like, and honestly, every 4 seconds, charge another flying item 4 seconds at Diamond. That seems solid. Like, I could see myself running that, right? Because that's a lot of charge. But the main benefit of this is obviously getting a loot item. You know, it's essentially a built-in supply crate, just as a medium item you can keep in your stash. I think that's really, really great. Joystick, charge adjacent drones 1 second, straightforward. The charge goes up. That seems really good as well. I don't know how many high impact drone items there are, but if there are high impact drone items, then you know 4 seconds is pretty damn good. Pogo stick, medium vehicle toy. This starts or stops flying. When this starts flying, shield 100. When this stops flying, charge adjacent items. That's funny. I really like this item, and it seems good. You know, we get a lot of shield, well, a decent amount, and when it stops, so essentially every 5 seconds we're charging adjacent items 1 second, and then every 5 seconds after that, so every 10 seconds, sorry, we're charging adjacent items 1 second. But I guess you can make it cycle more rapid. Like, you do have a lot of things, like airplane glue, right? That will make it go faster. Speaking of airplane glue, so adjacent items stop flying. When one of your items stops flying, it gains 20 damage and 20 shield for the fight. You know, works off of in-game scaling. I don't know whether I get it thematically. The airplane glue just makes things stop flying. But it's funky, right? Like, we're seeing things work with the flying mechanic more, which is cool. Birdcage. Adjacent small items stop flying, and when your items stop flying, shield 100. It's just like a great, you know, passive shielder. We're working off the flying mechanic again. Eject button, your vehicle stop flying. When your items stop flying, shield 10. First time full below half health each fight, use this. It's feels crazy. Like, I mean, like, all of your items stop flying. Like, there are probably cards, you know, like mag shield. Like, imagine we get the timing right. Eject button goes off, and then all of our items start flying again, right? Seems like it could be crazy. Max shield, your other items start or stop flying at certain seconds. When your items start flying, shield 100. We're just getting a bunch of shield, basically. And obviously it has the ability to enable flight and stop flying. And it is funky because it works both ways, right? So if we have items that are flying, then we have items that aren't, it changes both. So that's a kind of cool effect, I guess. Ice Bomb. Got a cute little axolotl here. Okay, so freeze one item for half a second. This stops flying. When this item starts flying, reload it. I would assume that the freeze scaling goes up, or the amount of items it freezes. I would just assume that it freezes an item for more. But I don't know. It is kind of cool. You know, freeze always does worry me a little bit. But it is, you know, it is what it is. Sirens. Slow an item for 1 second. Haste an item for 1 second for each adjacent vehicle or properties. Has +1 multicast. Seems like the same. I don't know if it had property on Sirens before, but it did have the multicast with vehicle thing. Wrecking Ball. Deal damage equal to 30% of an enemy's max health. Destroy an item. When this starts flying, charges 5 seconds. That seems crazy. Crazy, dude, right? Like, we are dealing 30% of their health every 20 seconds, but we have an ability that lets us charge it a quarter. Like, you only need to do that like 4 times for it to go off. And there's a lot of ways to enable flight, right? Like, really quickly. This seems really, really good. Weather Machine. Different. 2 items start flying. Freeze an item on each player's board for 1 second. Slow all items for 1 second. I like it. Seems cool. Seems funky. Never really had a look closely at the art before. I kind of just assumed it was like a weather cloud, but I never actually saw the actual weather machine in the bottom right. I think I'm just ignorant. So now we come to Lightning Rod, which is one of the items that have been talked about a lot. When any player freezes or slows, deal 30 damage. When an enemy freezes or slows one of your items, this is targeted instead. It's a passive item. You can't get frozen or slowed, and you deal damage on slow or freeze. You know, when we looked at, I think it was Fire Hose before, when we do a lot of slow, Weather Machine does a lot of slow. That seems really good if we can scale the damage on it. Altimeter. Charge adjacent items 1 second. For each adjacent flying item, this item's cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. Sorry. Yeah. For each adjacent flying item, you know, we're just getting a lot of charge. I assume the scaling goes up on the charge amount. Seems like it could go really fast. Obviously, we don't know whether items will be flying forever. Seems like you want items to stay flying. You don't want them to stop. Ornithopter. An adjacent item starts flying. The cooldown of the flying item to the left of this is reduced by 1 second. Seems great as well. I don't know. I would assume the cooldown gets increased maybe, or like the actual cooldown of the item versus the tooltip. I'm not sure. We'll see. All right. Radar Dome. This one is awesome. Big quest item. An item starts flying. Your flying weapons have +1 multicast. Your flying shield items have +1 multicast. Your flying burn items have +1 multicast. Like, that seems insane to me, right? Like, we can have Wrecking Ball. Give me Wrecking Ball with multicast, right? Like, destroy 2 items and deal 60% of the HP. This seems really stupid. But, you know, and if we get a shield or a burner chain, it has 1 more. I think this is a really cool item. I think it is quite strong. Like, the ability to just give everything multicast, and it's not passive, it has an effect as well. I like the fact that it is a quest item. It doesn't just give these things outright, like something like Robotics Factory, or the, I forget the toy equivalent for Pig, and then, you know, you have, you know, Bunker and things like that. I think it's a great item. It just seems really strong. Binoculars. When you buy or upgrade this, get or upgrade the target acquisition skill. At the start of each fight, your target acquisition's crit chance increases by 2%. Your flying items have plus 10% crit chance. Seems great. You just get a skill for free. And you can just keep it in your inventory, and it's basically a inexorable, right? I don't know whether the crit chance scaling increases on an item upgrade. But maybe it doesn't. because we already have, like, you know, when we buy or upgrade this, get or upgrade the target acquisition skill. I would assume that just increases the base amount of crit chance. Cloche Hat. Hi, Crit. Your rerolls cost 1 less gold for each apparel you have. That seems really good. You know, we just stack a bunch of apparel and get free rerolls. Seems great to me. Grabinator. Destroy the leftmost medium item and transform this into it for the fight. Seems kind of crazy. You know, if we're seeing core builds with 1 core, just 1 medium item, then, you know, you're destroying those self-scaling core builds quite easily. Obviously, we have a lot of things that operate off of destroy as well, so that's good to see. In-flight meal. We heal for 50. When your items start flying, this gains 50 heal for the fight. When you sell this, gain 5% max health. Seems awesome. And, you know, when we make 50 items fly, we gain 10% max health. Getting multiple of these in a run seems like it would be crazy. You just gain a bunch of HP. Now, Auto Polisher got changed. It doesn't suck anymore, and it might be, like, one of the best items in this expansion. So we have to make 99 items fly to unlock the quest, but when we sell this, enchant your leftmost small item of the same or lower tier with shiny. There's a lot of requirements, right? Shiny is obviously one of the best enchants in the game, but we need to make 99 items fly, and then it needs to be of a higher or equal rarity than the Orbital Polisher. And it has to be a small item as well. So it isn't necessarily going to have a massive impact on a small item, because, you know, maybe a small item does have a high impact, but it's not going to be a make or break for your build, and it has high requirements. So I think they've done a decent job on this. We'll see, but I think they've done a decent job. Pilots, wings, apparel, haste your flying vehicles for 1 second. Your flying vehicles have plus 10% crit chance. Seems really good, right? We're going to have a lot of flying vehicles, so this seems like it would be great, and it doesn't have any limit on how many things we're hasting, so it just hastes all of them. For a small item, that seems kind of crazy. Steam Washer, burn 4 when we use another vehicle, charges 2 seconds. Yeah, insane. Like, we're going to be using vehicles all the time. So, like, if we get some, like, scaling burn on this, it feels like it'll go really quickly, right? Like, we can, you know, get a lot of vehicles with a lot of multicast, as we saw, you know, with something like the Radar Dome. Where is the Radar Dome? There it is. I love the Radar Dome. Yeah, it seems like it could be really good. Flare Gun. While the enemy is burned, reduce the cooldown of your vehicles by 1 second. Yeah, seems good. Like, we just do this with, like, a Magma Core, and, you know, we reduce the cooldown of our items at the start of the fight by 1 second. We just get to start 1 second quicker. Seems great. Okay. Drafting table. Charge your non-tool items 1 second for each tool you have. Yeah, I like the payoff that you have to have tool and non-tool items. You have to find a balance in between. At the start of each day, if you have 3 or more tools, upgrade a lower tier vehicle or drone. That's feels great as well. You know, like, it's a replacement for the wrench. It's a replacement for the hammer, which are different now, and we'll see them later. Hanger. All non-vehicle and non-tool cooldowns are increased by 0.5 seconds. Your vehicle and tool cooldowns are decreased by 0.5 seconds. Seems crazy. It's the library, right? Hydraulic Squeezer. Charge your flying items 1 second when we use another tool. Charge this 1 second. Even just without the tool stuff, this seems really great. We're going to have a lot of flying items, so Hydraulic Squeezer does feel really good. And I would assume that on an upgrade, you know, this gets upgraded. We charge our flying items for more. Launch Tower. Use another vehicle. At the start of each fight, all your vehicles start flying. Crazy, by the way. Your flying weapons have plus 100 damage. Also crazy. I can see why it's a large item, right? And it does need to be a large item. That enables things a lot, right? Like, we have this and headphones. Like, we have, like, all of a sudden we have a really quick start. And we know Stelle has operated off of that, because we have seen things like the, what's it called? The gas canister thingy that hastes vehicles at the start of the fight, haste adjacents. We've known that Stelle operates off of, you know, going quick at the start of the fight for a while, but that does seem crazy. Ramming Balloon. Deal damage equal to your shield. 1 shield item starts flying. Your flying shield items have plus 50 shield. Seems great. Drink break. It's effectively a spiky shield, right? But we also give our flying items more shield. It does have the same cooldown. It feels slightly better than a, you know, spiky shield in that sense, I guess. It doesn't have the innate shield built in like spiky shield, but typically that doesn't matter. Okay, observatory, charge an item 2 seconds. When you use a flying item charge, this 2 seconds. Just kind of feels like, windmill, but it's slightly different flavor. The art is beautiful, by the way, though, like with all the stars and the comet. I don't know. You could probably generate some stupid infinites with this, but like, I can't judge that based off of what we've seen so far. Clockwork Disc. Deals 10 damage. This starts or stops flying. Straightforward. Air Pressure Rifle. Deal 50 damage when your items gain or start. When your items start flying, this gains 75 damage for the fight. When your items stop flying, reload this. Yeah, so it's essentially got infinite ammo, right? Unless we're keeping items flying. It does feel like it has a lot of scaling. It feels similar to an Arbalest in flavor, but I feel like you can get more haste than you can flying items, but we'll see. Kara. Sara, I don't know how you say it. Deal 5 damage. This and an adjacent item starts flying. Your flying weapons have plus 15 damage. Straightforward. We're just giving 2 things flight and we're dealing damage. It has a lot of things incorporated into it, right? It's a weapon, it's a vehicle. It gives it and adjacent items flying, and it also scales our flying weapons damage. So essentially, this will deal 20 damage, right? Dagger Wing. Deal 150 damage when your items stop or start flying. This gains 150 damage for the fight. It's a ton of scaling. It's like Air Pressure Rifle, but better. Gyro Gun Sight. When one of your weapons starts flying, against 20 damage for the fight. Straightforward. In-fight scaling. No, it's nothing crazy when we've looked at the other scaling that we've seen so far, but it is a small item. Alright, Box Cutter. Deal 10 damage, permanently decreases items damage by 1. When we level up, this gains 10 damage. Yeah, it's a small weapon tool. I can see it working with some of the tool synergies that we've seen so far. It's not anything special by itself when we look at the damage numbers, but I guess we can scale it effectively at higher levels. Hammer. When we sell this, upgrade your leftmost item of a lower tier. Way better than just like the gimme of, when we level up, upgrade an item. That seems a lot better to me. But obviously we have to buy 10 tools in order to enable that. And we can get a, relatively high upgrade, right? Like, we might be buying this and upgrading it in order to fill the quest. I think that's good. Wrench. At the start of each day, upgrade a tool of a lower tier. While this is flying, this is double damage. Kind of maybe could be crazy. It's a 4-second weapon, and it has double damage while it's flying. We can scale this to the moon, I feel like. And it's 4 seconds. Does feel like it has the potential to be really good, right? Like, every time they put double in something, it can get dangerous. Molten Ball Blaster. It's Magma Core mention. 50-10 damage and burn, and when we use another tool, charges 2 seconds. Feels slow. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, but it feels kind of slow. Like, we do have some fast-ish tools, but this doesn't feel super fast. Sales Workshop. Your tools cooldown are reduced by 1 second when we use a tool, charge a vehicle, or drone 1 second. Yeah, that seems really good. Like, I feel like we could have a lot of, like, flying items and do some wacky stuff with some, like, multicasted tools or vehicles where we just are running, like, a single vehicle, or drone, and we're just getting a lot of charge, basically. Seems like it could be really good. It is a passive item, obviously, and I don't know what the upgrade would be. Maybe just 2 seconds, or cooldown reduced more. Feels like it could be really good, though. Red Lantern. Adjacent items have plus 10% crit chance. When this is flying, this is double crit chance bonus. Straightforward. It just gives adjacent items bonus crit chance. Chicken Cannon. Goosefather, my guy. Deal 15 damage. Adjacent shield items gain shield equal to this item's damage for the fight every 7 seconds. It's a weapon toy, which is interesting. It is kind of funky. We can get some scaling on this, and it is nice to see things. I guess it's great that they gave it to Goosefather. I'm sure it reminds him fondly of these shield damage synergies of Pig with 28-hour fitness and things like that. This seems like it could be fun. It could be fun. It could be interesting. Aerial Turret. Deal 10 damage, reduces items cooldown by 1 second. While this is flying, this has multicast. Seems great, right? Like, it's similar to the Gatling gun. At least what it was. And it can gain multicast, so its cooldown reduction is getting quicker. So this will go to, like, 1 second pretty quickly while it has multicast, right? Because, it goes to 5 seconds if it has multicast, then it goes to 3, then it goes to 1. So it'll stack pretty quickly. Gatling gun, deal 25 damage, just gains crit chance for the fight. It has multicast already, and the first time you use this item's cooldown is halved for the fight. So, I like this thematically, right? Like the Gatling gun, it takes a while to start turning, but then when it goes, bang, it goes fast, right? I think this is a cool change. It has innate multicast, which is cool. 6-second item, it is kind of fun, right? Vortex cannon, deal 25 damage, all items start flying. When any player uses a flying item, this gains 25 damage for the fight. That seems crazy, right? Like we're seeing all items start flying. That does seem really good. And when any player uses a flying item, this gains like 25 damage for the fight. So when any player uses an item, it gets scaling, and it's a 4-second weapon. I know it starts low and it's gold, but that seems crazy. Pill Buggy, he's so cute. How is that not a friend? Aw. Okay, shield for 40, deal damage equal to your shield. So it's effectively a spiky shield. When this is hasted, it gains 40 shield for the fight. It's a spiky shield again, but it is so much cuter. Security drone. When an enemy uses an item while this is flying, charges 1 second. Yeah, lots of charge, can go really quickly. It's a drone tech item. There were probably some items that rely on tech and drone procs. So this seems like an item that just gives us really quick tech drone procs, basically. So, Stellar Swallowtail. Deal 100 damage, shield 100. When another item is hasted, charges 1 second. When you use a flying item, haste that item for 1 second. Yeah, so pretty straightforward, right? Like we're gonna have a lot of flying items, and it relies on having a lot of flying items, and then on usage it charges itself basically, because we're gonna be hasting all the time because of its innate ability. Tethers, one of your items stops flying. When you use a flying item, charges 1 second. When your item stops flying, shield 40. Straightforward. I don't know whether it's amazing. It's an 8-second cooldown, but it does seem kind of fun. Windbreaker, shield 25. When your items start flying, this gains plus 25 shield for the fight. While this is flying, this has double shield. Yeah. Seems great, right? Like we can scale the hell out of this shield, right? Like we have the double in the tooltip again. Seems like a lot of her items do have that. And you know, like while this is flying, we have the innate shield scaling, and it's going to gain double. It is a medium item at 5 seconds, so it's relatively quick. It's a ton of shield. I think this is going to be great in the early game, especially. Marshalling lights, 2 items stop flying at 5 seconds. Straightforward. It's small. Wow, and on an upgrade it goes to 4. That does seem crazy. We have a lot of items that operate off of that stop flying function, right? So it does seem really good. Parachute. When your items start or stop flying, this gains 10 regen for the fight. The first time you fall below half health each fight, use this. Yeah, I don't know if regen is amazing, I guess. Like, it seems to be really good at Mac because you can just scale the hell out of it. I'm not seeing a lot of things that would enable this enough to make the 12-second cooldown worth it, basically. Sandbags. A vehicle starts flying. When one of your vehicles starts flying, charge it 1 second. Straightforward. Like, I think that it is going to be really good combined with headphones, combined with some of the items that also haste them. It feels like you can get a lot of charge. I do like the fact that it's ammo. Someone's going to make a balls joke, right? Right? Sky Anchor, deal 100 damage. Adjacent items stop flying when you slow charge is 2 seconds. Slow charge, like, think of things like fire hose, things like that. Adjacent items stop flying. You also deal 100 damage. I don't think the damage is really the, you know, its innate ability, really. Like, it does damage, but it's only 100. And when we're starting with a medium item at gold, it doesn't seem amazing. We'll see. Squirrel Suit. This item stops flying when you use an adjacent flying item. This starts flying when you use an adjacent flying item, this starts flying. And on 6 seconds, it stops flying. When this starts flying, gain 6 regen. It's another regen item. I don't know if it's amazing. Seems like that's the end of the items. We'll go through some of the skills quickly. Thrill of the Flight. Your flying items cooldowns are reduced by 10%. Straightforward. I'm assuming a diamond will go up to 20. Seems great, right? Eject. The first time you would die each fight, destroy one of your vehicles for the fight to heal to full. Absolutely insane, right? Like, I know that there's some sacrifice involved, but you would, like, die, right? So like it's a great trade-off. Expert Pilot, much the same. Your vehicles have plus 30% damage and shield, similar. Magic Carpet changes. We'll also go through some changes to current items, I guess, as well. So let's see. Magic Carpet, deal 50 damage. When you crit, reduces items cooldown by 1 second for the fight, and this starts flying. Balloon Bot, shield 20, a small item starts flying. While you're shielded, this item's cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. Cool, right? Like, it's much the same, but you just get the small item starts flying function. Thrusters, at the start of each fight, the item to the left, this starts flying. The item to the left, this is a vehicle, and its cooldown is reduced. So it's just better for the core builds, I guess, so far. Like, you just get to half the slow and freeze that gets put on it, as well as, you know, giving it its innate cooldown and the vehicle tag. Covetous Raven, when you use another relic or enchanted item, charges 2 seconds and it starts flying. It just gets the benefit of half slow freeze, basically. Dragon Wing, an item starts flying is the only change. Dragon Heart, when you burn or use a flying item. So not use a dragon item anymore. When you burn or use a flying item, charges 2 seconds. That's kind of cool. Cosmic Plumage, an item starts flying and your flying items gain 5% crit chance of the fight. Straightforward. When you crit or use a flying item, it just gives it the flight synergy, basically. Cosmic Amulet, hasten item for 1 second. When you crit, this starts flying. When this is flying, it has +1 multicast. It's a small multicast haste. Every 2.5 seconds, it's hasting something, so that seems decent. Not seeing anything else here. New monster encounters, Rex Specs. It seems interesting to have an item as an encounter, and it does seem pretty good. Right, like we're going to be getting a lot of usages out of these items here. Obviously, you aren't a dinosaur, but it is a bit of damage. Healthy Friendship, when you use a friend, gain 2 regen for the fight. So it's going to be scaling regen. It destroys your items. It doesn't have any innate damage scaling, though, right? It does have crit chance scaling. Oh, well, Rex Spec scales its damage, right? So Test Subject Alpha, it's just a Mac build. While you're poisoned, your items cooldowns are reduced by 3%. While your enemy is poisoned, their items cooldowns are increased by 3%. That's kind of cool. I like the theme of that. Tortuga. Yeah, friends, multicast, lots of burn. So, you know, Zoacid will be going off, or the Sea Cobra. Zoacid, sorry, will be going off really quickly. And your friend's cooldowns are reduced by 5%. Friend Zone. Calatop Officer, so we have some Stelle encounters with some Stelle items. Kind of hard to tell the synergies of this board, you know, just from seeing the items that we have. Seems like a lot of things start flying, and this is the main damage dealer, because when things start flying, this gains damage. Cloudtop Admiral, so you gain damage every time an item starts flying, I believe. And it has a legendary item. I don't know what it does. The guess here is that when you do X slow an item on each board for 5 seconds. I don't know if that's because they saw some slow or something like that, but it is interesting. Stell's Sister, family reunion encounter. And it's a diamond encounter with a bunch of multicast. The Tantius Carrier is a monster item. It's not a Stell item, but when we use a drone, this gains plus 25 damage to the fight. Your other vehicles are drones. Adjacent drones have +1 multicast. Seems like it could be crazy. Like any item is a drone that, you know, that is adjacent. No, that isn't adjacent, sorry, but your vehicles basically, any vehicle that you want that you put adjacent to this can gain multicast, essentially. And we have some other items here that haven't been, like, spoken about yet, which probably will. I wanted to make this video now. So we aren't covering the limited amount of items that are here. But some comments. So we talked about the changes to Radiant. Essentially, most large like carry items are going to start at gold now. And there's a lot. Tovi has said that there's a lot of docks, right? So we have Aero that sells vehicles. Uncle Odie, which is the unique skill encounter for Stell. Pinfeather sells flying items. That guy seems like, oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. I like that. That's really fun. Cool cosmetics, some cool card backs, blueprint rug. The Stell board looks amazing. And yeah, you know, we have some Stell skins and stuff like that as well, which isn't really what I want to cover, but this one is cool. This is like the tournament winner skin, which is like an exclusive skin, which is really cool. That's still a bit long-winded. There are a lot of items to cover, but that is everything so far. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. And I'm really excited for the changes to the game. I'm excited for Stelle to be released, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.